Game over. Michigan wins. Big Ten champions. Back-to-back Big Ten champions. 43-22 over Purdue. Purdue fought really, really hard in this game. I think their main issue was that they couldn't get in the end zone. They were able to consistently move the ball. I believe they had more yards in this game, total yards, than we did. They had more passing yards. They didn't have more rushing yards, obviously. No team ever really does. But they played really well. Aiden O'Connell, he did really well too. He had a lot of passes. He completed, I think, close to 400 yards or over 400 yards passing in this game. The only problem was he didn't get a touchdown out of that. Now, the score is kind of deceiving because of it, because we beat him by 21. We were favored by, I think, 16.5 in this game, so we covered the spread. We were able to convert when we got into those situations in the red zone. We were able to score touchdowns. We held them to field goals. Now, if you look at like the first half of this game, it was 14-13 of Michigan, in favor of Michigan, and it's basically become well known at this point, where it's gotten to the point pretty much where I'm not really as worried as much if we're only up by 1 point, because Michigan is a second half team. We always come out in the second half of these games and dominate and win this game by however many points. In this case, 21 points. When we were only up by 1. 14 to 13 at halftime, win at 43-22. None of those 22 points that Purdue had in the second half was a touchdown. It was 3 field goals, actually. They had 9 points in the second half, and they had 13, I believe 13, only one of them being a touchdown. So they only had 1 touchdown the whole game, but 22 points. A lot of field goals in this game. I think is that how it was? Let's see. It was 7-7, and they had 10, and then they had 13, 16, 19, 22. Yeah. 1 touchdown and a bunch of field goals to give them 22 points. Michigan was able to score multiple times in the second half. 29 points in the second half compared to only 14 in the first. Michigan had even more points in the second half of this game than they did against Ohio State last week. So Michigan is Big Ten champions. Very happy, back-to-back Big Ten champions. Obviously, we don't have Blake Corum for the rest of the season. It hasn't really mattered these last 2 games. He only played 2 snaps in the Ohio State game for 6 yards. He was a non-factor. Still won the game anyway, so that was good. And then this Purdue game, didn't have him at all. Completely on the shoulders of Donovan Edwards. And Donovan Edwards played really well. Over 180 rushing yards in this game off of 25 carries. He won the MVP. I'm happy there for Donovan Edwards. Really glad that he got that MVP. He deserved it. He deserves that. Michigan is 13-0. The playoff selection show is tomorrow at noon. I will make a video. I'll either try and do a live reaction, or I'll just make a video about it. One of the two. I'll probably just end up making a video. I don't know if I'll be home to watch it. So I'll probably just make a reaction to the top 4 teams. Georgia and Michigan obviously going to be number 1 and number 2. It's just that 3 and 4 that are kind of, what's it going to be? I think it's going to be Ohio State at number 3, and Michigan's going to play Ohio State for a second time. Some other people, like Joel Klatt, thinks it's going to be TCU and then Ohio State. Some people are saying it's going to be TCU, Ohio State. Some people think it's going to be Ohio State, TCU. Some people think it's going to be Ohio State, Alabama. Or it could be... I don't think Alabama's making it in. I think that's the least likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario here is Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU. And we may end up playing Ohio State for a second year, for the second time this year. We'll see. It gets announced tomorrow, and those games aren't played until New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. So we've got a few weeks to wait before some more Michigan football. 13-0, first time in program history. Michigan has gone 13-0, which is huge. I've obviously never seen it. None of you have ever seen it. So this is a big deal for Michigan. We're in the playoffs again, like I said, at the number 2 position, like last year, and we'll see who we get matched up against. My bet, it's either going to be Ohio State or TCU. We'll see. I know TCU lost, and a lot of people think they're going to get knocked out. I don't think they're going to get knocked out personally. I think they're still going to be in it. I think you can't really justify putting Alabama in it. That would just be criminal to take TCU out with the season they've had and one game where they lost by 3 points. I don't think it will be enough for them. And it was against a top 10 team. I know Kansas State, but Kansas State's a really good team, right? They're a top 10 team. So with TCU losing this game, they have a 3-point loss to a top 10 team, and that's their loss this season. So I think they should still make it, but they may be put down to number 4. We'll see. I think that's what it's going to be. So it'll be Ohio State 3, Ohio State at 3, and TCU at 4. But we'll see. It's announced tomorrow at noon, so the committee's got some decisions to make. If USC could have just won, that would have made the decision process a little bit easier. Now, wouldn't have. But both the Big 12 favorite and Pac-12 favorite had to lose in USC and TCU, so now it's going to be a little confusing. I think USC is absolutely done. They're no good. They're not in. TCU is still in it in my eyes, and then obviously Michigan and Georgia and Michigan 1-2 are clearly the two number 1 and number 2. I don't think you can't put Georgia at number 2 and Michigan at 1. They're not going to do that. I think that's a 100% probability that it's Georgia, Michigan, and then we'll see what 3 and 4 are. It's going to be interesting. We thought going into this week it could be predictable. It's pretty unpredictable, actually. Ohio State snuck their way back in, I think, for sure. It's just depending on where they get placed, either at 3 or 4. TCU is probably still in it as well. And Alabama is still droning on about how they should be in it. But the important thing about tonight was Michigan wins the Big Ten championship for the 2nd year in a row. Back-to-back Big Ten titles. Last year with a win over Iowa, and this year with a win over Purdue. And like I said, Purdue played really hard. Aiden O'Connell. My heart goes out to him. He lost his older brother. Was it last week? That kid's got fight in him. I don't know why I say kid. He's older than me. But he's got fight in him, and I got a lot of respect for Aiden O'Connell. I've sung his praises from week 1 about how good he is and how much I like him. And we'll see what bowl game they get. I hope Purdue gets a good bowl game, and I hope they win it. They deserve something nice. Michigan, on the other hand, J.J. McCarthy played a pretty good game. He did have that one interception. He made some throws that were just kind of not great. But he made good throws when he needed to. He extended plays with his legs. And he when he does that, he's dangerous. He really is. His ability to extend plays, things that guys like Cade McNamara couldn't do, or other quarterbacks we've had in the past who were pretty much statues. J.J. McCarthy is... Finally, Michigan has the type of quarterback that it can extend plays. And in my eyes, I think JJ is a great. Is especially next year and maybe even the following year. He's just going to be a great quarterback, barring any injury or something crazy happening, I think J.J. McCarthy really does take Michigan to the next level. And he's the type of guy that should be able to help bring in highly recruited quarterbacks to Michigan, because we need them. It seems like most years we struggle with quarterbacks, to get good ones at least. Or we have serviceable quarterbacks like Cade McNamara, who was he was a good quarterback, but he wasn't going to take us to that next level. I think with JJ, he's able to take us to that next level. By the way, Cade McNamara going to Iowa, transferring to Iowa, and he's going to be playing for them next year. All the luck in the world to Cade McNamara. And I have the ultimate respect for Cade McNamara, first quarterback in over 10 years to beat Ohio State, and the first quarterback in even longer, 17 years, to win us a Big Ten title. I hope that he is very successful at Iowa, and I hope that they build a team around him to support him so he can be successful. All the love and respect to Cade McNamara, seriously. But Donovan Edwards, 25 carries, 181 yards. I think I already talked about that. Had a heck of a game. Really good game. And the offensive line played really well. We're still without Mike Morris. I wish we could get him back. Hopefully we can hopefully get him back for the playoffs. I don't know. Will we need him? I don't know. We're obviously not going to have Blake Corum for the rest of the season. It sucks. It really sucks. I wish he could be a part of the celebration tonight. But he wasn't there. At least as far as I know, he wasn't there. But it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine, man. Hopefully we can get to the national championship game. Whoever they put in front of us, I believe we can win. I really do. I think Michigan has the potential to win it all this year. Our chances, they're not giving us very high chances, but we've overcame bigger odds before, so we'll see where it takes us. A max of 2 games left. If we can win this semifinal game and make that national championship, there's that one game in front of us. So this is the closest we've ever gotten, in my eyes, to getting there. Because last year, we had that one loss to Michigan State, and it was kind of just that blemish. And we were going into a semifinal game against Georgia, which a lot of people didn't really give us a chance of winning. I feel like this year, this team is better, and this team has the potential to beat Georgia. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe this video will age poorly, but I'm going to stick to my word either way. And, maybe we don't even make it past the semifinal round. Who knows? We'll see on December 31st. So, thank you guys for watching. Go Blue, 13-0, baby. Big Ten champs. Let's go!